privatization. Stop union busting and 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 privatization. Okay, brothers and sisters, my name is Steve Zeltzer. I'm with the Transport Workers Solidarity Committee, which has initiated the call for this rally and protest this afternoon. The reason we did it is because we want to show that the Korean workers have support in the United States, that their struggle for justice, their struggle for human rights, their struggle against privatization has support in the United States and around the world. And there are going to be demonstrations in Brazil. There's going to be a demonstration tomorrow in France. This is a worldwide struggle. And as a matter of fact, their fight against privatization is not an isolated fight. Workers in the United States are fighting privatization.
One of the major capitalist newspapers in Korea, called the Korean Herald, has reported that that the police have declared an all-out war on the KCTU and the KRWU. And when the police are mobilized in the thousands, like they have been, to surround the headquarters of the KCTU, this is indeed an all-out class war. And we have a stake in this class war. We side with the working class in Korea against the repressive government of Park Geun-hye. Park Geun-hye is the daughter of Park, the military strongman who in 1971, through a coup, took power in Korea. He held that for almost 20 years. And he used the KCIA, the same as the US CIA, to rule the country with an iron fist. His daughter, Park Geun-hye, is attempting to implement the policies of neoliberalism, to privatize not only the rail industry, but also the health care industry and the schools. This is a struggle in which we have a stake in, and we support the struggle of the railway workers of Korea and the KCTU.
My name is Ik Shin. American Way. I've been here 47 years.
Oh, great. And I noticed that you have a sign that says Arise Jeontae-il for Korea. Can you tell me a little bit about this?
Oh, sure. This Jeontae-il is a symbol of labor movement in South Korea. He burned himself in front of the government, the headquarters, whatever. They are claiming that labor, the law, there is a law, but nobody, pursue, obey the law. So exploitation was all over, and at the time Korean economy was at the bottom, but his spirit made Korea strong, because every college student joined labor movement by just abandoning the college, because he said when he burned himself that what about you guys who learn in college? So everybody joined. So his spirit is all over. I know Korea will eventually reunite because his force is strong for democracy. So that's what South Korea labor is the only labor union who favors socialism. I mean socialistic capitalism, whatever.
You mean the KCTU?
Well, yeah, they all believe in, yeah. So they are the democracy. Labor is the force. That's the hope. That's why I carry this.
The fact of the matter is that the KCTU, the KWRU, all of the unions are an achievement of the Korean people against torture and murder and imprisonment and tremendous repression. And now they are trying once again to crush those organizations with the full backing of Washington. And we say no. We say we stand in solidarity with the people of South Korea. We stand in solidarity with the union movement of South Korea. U.S. out of Korea. Thank you.
I can't stand here as a public school teacher without saluting the Korean teachers who have, by their militancy, by their organization, been inspirational to myself and other teachers. I'm a member of the California Teachers Association. I'm a member of the United Teachers of Richmond. And believe me, our unionism pales in the face of the teachers who are out in the streets, who are fighting the police, fighting for public education, fighting against the privatization of their students' schools in South Korea. And that in and of itself has been inspirational.
Do you see any similarity between your struggle and what's going on in Korea?
Oh, the two are intimately related. It's all about privatization. It's all about these big corporations like Veolia taking over. And they're going to use whatever methods they have to use. If they needed to use the police here, they would have. Unfortunately, our workers are not as militant as the Korean workers. But I think people are learning. I think the workers are learning.
And the repression that's going on in Korea against the railway workers, are you surprised by the kind of repression that they face?
No, because the South Korean government has been a repressive government. Even after they got rid of the so-called dictator, it's basically an oligarchy. And it's beholden to the United States. They call the shots.
To win this critical fight, the workers cannot play by the boss's rules. The capitalists have been aggressive and unrestrained in their attack. They have attacked the headquarters of the KCTU with tear gas, and now they are even demanding that the unions compensate state-owned companies for losses caused by the strike. Yet so far, the rail union leaders have adopted gentle tactics, abiding by crippling legal requirements to maintain a minimum level of rail service. The rail workers must take the next step. They must break the law and shut down rail operations with an all-out strike. A firm stand is the best way to rally support from other unions and the millions of workers who will suffer if the privatization drive succeeds.
When you hear about Korea, it sounds as if you're talking about Colombia. It doesn't, it's not really different from one country to another. The conditions are exactly the same. The privatization of all the healthcare in Colombia, the privatization of transportation, the privatization of education, etc., have been constant struggles in the streets of Colombia. If we don't internationalize our struggle, we're not going to do anything. They certainly have internationalized capitalism, and if we don't come together and show solidarity and work together, there's no way we can defeat this system.
We're going to go into the consulate and hand them a letter of our statement of why we're out here today in solidarity with the Korean workers. And as I said, we want you to support an action on January 16th when the Korean KCTU has called for another general strike. This is going to be a long struggle, and it's not over by any means. So thank you for joining us. Hands off the Korean workers, support the general strike. Hands off the Korean workers, support the general strike. Hands off the Korean workers, support the general strike. Hands off the Korean workers, support the general strike.
The U.S. Department of State. I'm sorry to say, you cannot access the door. That's private property. I know you guys have a statement you'd like to give them. If you give me a second, I will go and ask them if that's okay, if they can hand it to you.
Okay.
And I will.
Well, let me finish responding to you. We've already notified the consulate, and they said come in and we'll accept the letter.
Okay,
So
that's
we've already done that.
Okay, that's perfectly fine then.
And I know you're probably new at doing this, but we've been around a few more years. We've been to this consulate a number of times and gone through the same thing.
Okay.
We have a demonstration outside, protest the government's policies, and then we hand them our letter.
That's fine. If they said it's okay, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
So I just want to make sure.
All right, George and Steve. I thought that was a latch to open it. Apparently they locked it, so. I don't know, did we look that threatening?
Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. It is we who plowed the prairies, built the cities where they trade, dug the mines and built the workshops, endless miles of railroad laid. Now we stand outcast and starving amidst the wonders we have made, but the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. They have taken untold millions that they never toiled to earn, but without our brain and muscle, not a single wheel can turn. We can break their haughty power, gain our freedom when we learn that the union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong. In our hands is placed a power greater than their hoarded gold, greater than the might of armies, magnified 1,000-fold. We can bring to birth a new world from the ashes of the old, for the union makes us strong.